lady, Angelique, the lovely rose. But there's a flower more dear to me than in the wildwood grows. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. I met her on the road to Puck when I was 22. She said, young man, one favour I'm going to ask of you. As you stroll the streets with your ballet sheets through the fair of great renown, will you dance a set with the girl you met, your wildflower of the lawn? She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. Her pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. Well, we sang and danced 3 days and nights to the minstrel's merry tune. We ate blue beans and drank black ale, but the scattering came too soon. The open road soon called on me to roam the country round. With my money spent, 'twas away I went from my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. 'Twas by luck and chance at the harvest dance that our paths they crossed once more. We pledged our love 'neath the stars above as we kissed down by the shore. The wedding bells did soon ring out, and now we're settled down beside these banks where I give God thanks for my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn.
It was early on a fine summer's morning, I strayed by the banks of Solon, for to gaze on the beauties of nature that laid between woodland and lawn. My prospects were surely enchanting when gay lasses in juvenile bloom promenading on the banks of that river that flows through the town of Macroom. I've been airy and fond of recreation. By this river I venture to roam, until weary of rambling and roving, I sat sat myself down by a grove. I sat for some time meditating, until Sol his bright rays had withdrawn, and a damsel of queenly appearance came down by the banks of Ceylon. We walked and we talked and we gathered, impaling the sweet fragrant air, till at last in a voice most affected she said, "Sir, my father is here. Were I ruler of France or of Prussia, it's with you, love, I'd soon wear the crown, and I'd join you in wedlock, my darling. You're the beauty of sweet Massey Town. But now I am released from my storing, with a heart full of sorrow and grief. There is no one on earth to console me, or give me the slightest relief. I will roam through the African desert, until death it casts me to my tomb, for the sake of that charming young maiden that I met in the town of Macroom.
It's my pleasant function this evening on behalf of Garda Social Club to invite you all here to the function to mark the retirement of Terence McSweeney, who joined the Garda in June 1966. I'm delighted to see you all here, and it's a great tribute to Terence that you've all come tonight, and I hope you'll have a very, very pleasant function. A very special invitation to his wife Maureen, to his daughters Hazel, and her husband Seamus, to Noel, and her husband Michael, to Grace, and her boyfriend Dennis, to Cleona, and a special invitation to Maureen's sisters Eileen Healy and Breda Kenny. All the way from Killargan, we have the special guest for tonight, Terry's best man, Jerome Conway, and his wife Eva. Over the years in the Garda Síochána, Terry has seen many happy and sad times. And today in the Garda Síochána in Macroom, we had a very untimely death of Evan Lillis, who was living in Macroom and stationed in Dundrum in Dublin. Now, I'd like you to observe just 1 minute's silence in his memory. Thank you indeed. Evan's parents send their best wishes to Terry and insist that we have a very, very special night, and it means an awful lot to us, I can tell you. Without any further ado, I call on Father Gabriel to say grace.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which of thy gracious bounty we're about to receive through Christ our Lord. Amen. And then in Nazaret and Vicar of the Spirit there.
gentlemen. After that meal, we can stay all night. Terry McSweeney, having spent most of his time in the Macroom district, it's now only appropriate that we call on Inspector Nolan on behalf of Macroom Garda District Social Club to say a few words and to make a presentation.
Reverend Fathers, Chief Superintendent Dwyer, ladies and gentlemen and fellow colleagues, it's a great pleasure for me to be here tonight to share with Terry's function and his retirement. On behalf of the district force and on behalf of Superintendent Vincent Duggan, who unfortunately cannot be here with us tonight due to a prior engagement, I would like to thank Terry for his contribution to policing in Macroom district over a long number of years. Terry was a loyal and dedicated colleague and friend to all of us. He brought many of his fine qualities to bear in his everyday work as a Garda, and most of all was his courtesy and respect he displayed when dealing with the public. His approachability and concern for people singled him out, not in a special way. Terry, in essence, was a great ambassador for the Garda Síochána here in Macroom and indeed in the division of West Cork. Terry, as you know, joined the Garda Síochána back in 1966, and I was just looking back at that particular year. It was a very significant year. It was a year that Cork regained their rightful place and went back to All-Ireland after a barren period. It was in football terms, the Kerrymen were left out in the cold. It was just coming to the end of the reign of that great Galway 60s team. President De Valera was back in the Irish after being re-elected. Lyndon Johnson was escalating things out in Vietnam, so he was and also back in '66 you had we all recall, I think I can recall anyway because I was a young man at that stage, was that in the social scene miniskirts were a la mode and pop music was just growing up at the time, and it was the year Walt Disney died as well. So it was against this backdrop that young Terry took to the highways and byways of West Cork, initially arriving in Bandon, where he spent some, I think 6 years in Bandon before he transferred over to Macroom in 1972. Tom so grew in Bandon, and he's the district clerk at Bandon, still wondering how he got there ahead of him. But anyway, the rest is history. I first met Terry back in 1997, and my first impressions of this modest Kerryman have endured. His sense of humour fused with that bit of roguery brightened our days. Whenever you'd meet Terry, he'd always refer to him. I said, "How are you getting on, Terry?" Terry would always say, "Oh, the poor Kerryman." But I thought he was a real genuine guy until he made that statement to me, because I'm over 30 years in the job and I've met a lot of Kerry people, but I never met a poor Kerryman. This is obviously a very nostalgic occasion for Terry and his family, but Terry can leave the force in the certain knowledge of a job well done. Your retirement will provide you with new opportunities, and we wish you well. And you'll obviously be joining the very distinguished retired members club here in Macroom district. And I see some here tonight like Seamus McFarlane after 10 years in the Garda, or 10 years retired, looking so well. So must be life after the job, Terry. Finally, I would just like to wish Terry, his family, every good wish for the future and the very best of good health to you and your family. And don't forget to keep in touch with us in Macroom Station. I know whenever I was in Macroom, I was always look forward to meeting Terry there, and the kettle was always on the boil. maybe he might get a job with Barry's Tea or something. I don't know, but he certainly was a good man to look after a person when they call. God bless. Bye bye.
We'll just do the presentation now. Thank you. Now I'd like to call on Sergeant Finbar O'Sullivan to say a few words on behalf of the AGSI.
Thanks, Jerry. I'd just like to welcome everybody here tonight. It is a special occasion, and we'd like to wish Terry and his family the very, very best. To describe Terry is difficult, but yet simple. I would describe Terry as a very kind of a gentle soul. He brought a lot of good qualities from his life and from his background, and he displayed them very, very strongly in the attitude he worked and he dealt with people and dealt with his colleagues. Every time we met Terry, he had a smile. He was always in good humour, and he was always a pleasure to meet. I'm trying to think of this, some of the stories of Terry, and I suppose one comes to mind. I probably know very few of you. I'm not too long here in Macroom, but when I arrived first to Macroom, the sergeant's office is at the back of the building, and normally guards don't come looking for the sergeants because they get a bit of extra work. But every half an hour, Terry's come out to see me. And I felt just, this is a great fella. He's worried about me. He's concerned about me. I said, what's the story here? And Terry, as the inspector said, with his roguery, I thought nothing about it, only there was pure genuineness in him. Pure genuine Kerry goodness. But anyway, Terry, we'll have a great conversation with Terry. It'll be a very, very in-depth conversation, but all of a sudden Terry would leave. For no reason, in the middle of the conversation. And I was saying maybe the telephone is ringing or the radio is calling outside. And I said, God bless Terry's hearing. How did he hear this bit of a click? It was going on for a good long while, and just I was feeling more comfortable and happy that Terry was calling out to see me, until I discovered that it was actually the click of the kettle. Terry would call down to say hello to me, but I suppose he was passing so many times he felt he had to make some of the conversation. He'd put on the kettle and then he'd keep me busy inside and then suddenly disappear. But it was one of Terry's good habits, and I must say I always enjoyed Terry. I would say on behalf of the station party in Macroom, they are very, very sorry to see Terry go. He was a very good colleague. He always brightened up the place, and it was great to meet somebody smiling all the time, because I suppose in these times with stressful lives and difficult things happening around the place as happened in Macroom of late, it was always great to meet someone who would smile constantly, because sometimes with the kind of long face, but you would have to say, and I would take my hat off to him, Terry was always smiling and always good humour, and would put everybody in good humour. I just tell one other story about Terry, and we were talking about the recent, the mobile phones. Fellas have 2 or 3 mobile phones hanging off them, and every sort of a yoke, and they're texting here and texting there and emails. And I was saying, Terry, how do we cope? Many years ago, how did you cope back along? So Terry, in one of his visits to me at night time, while the kettle was boiling, obviously, told me that he had his own little system back in the 60s when the guards had no radios or there was no way of contacting the car. That the way Terry would contact them was to leave a light on outside the building. So I was thinking of Terry here, if he ran out of tea bags, there'd be some flicking of the switch outside getting the boys back. I'll just conclude, but just to say thanks, Terry, for all your efforts. I must say I enjoyed your company very much. All the members of the station and people who would pass through the station and visitors to the station, always a great word, so Terry. And there isn't anyone telling any lies, but you cannot think of a bad word to say about Terry. He'll be very, very much missed. I'd like to thank him again for all his efforts and to wish him the very, very best. And he is always welcome to Macroom Station. He's promised to return, and as a presentation, I think the people in the station are going to give him the teapot to remember him by. But listen, thank you very much. I hope people enjoy their night. And as again, I'd like to wish Terry and his family a successful retirement and many years of health and happiness. Thank you.
Thanks, Finbar. It's great that our Chief Superintendent, Dermot Dwyer, could be here tonight, and we'll call on him now, please.
Honoured guest, Terry, Moraid, family, your friends and relations that are also here tonight, our own colleagues, retired and serving, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting to be habit to come to Macroom with fellows retiring, and I think Terry is nearly the last of the old brigade. And I agree with what Ted Nolan says, and that people are with long service in Macroom and that they're a bit of a loss to us and so on, but I also have no doubt in the world that the new generation of members of the force here in Macroom will maintain the wonderful relationship that we have with the people of Macroom over the years, and I mentioned the last time I was here, that's something we appreciate very much. I know Terry is, over many years, and I agree with what was said about him. He's has a lot of the old qualities which are very nice in people. He had time to talk to people, he had time to listen to people, and in today's world that's kind of rare, Everyone now is in a rush. Where they're rushing to, we don't know, but they're all rushing anyway. And Terry had time to that. Now, I found him also to be a very sincere fella, genuine guy. Had a great liking for the people of Macroom. He said the only day he didn't like him was the day of the Munster final. He hated to see Cockfellas going down to Kerry and all that. And listening to Ted tonight, the seldom time the Cork win, by Christ, don't you talk about it, Yeah, but anyway, we understand your situation, it's okay. But now, I never tell you, as long as I know, I didn't realise you were such a tea drinker, but I won't mention tea anymore tonight. But the thing is this, but then, but Terry, with all this innocent, I'm around a long time too. I'm retiring myself in a few months' time, and fellas with innocent faces like Terry, they're kind of rogues too, the back of it and all that type of thing. And I never underestimated him, but at the same time, he was a very conscientious fella. And another thing that he did in Macroom, there was a few fellas there that he kept them working, which was very important too. And he told me that he was out in the car one night with a fella who was, a very holy type of fella, and he said that he was so bad one night in his religion that he was even blessing himself passing the Toyota garage. He thought he was passing the shops. So he said to him, "You better keep a look out for that fella." Do you hear that, Patsy? Where are you? So I was delighted to have my own agent here in Macroom at that stage. He kept me up, Now, where I think Terry is back from around Castlemaine, isn't that right? Kinoglan. Castlemaine, yeah. Well, he's certainly. Who was somebody at the Wild Kilonian boy, wasn't that right? Oh, yes. I tell you, you were safe enough anyway. You didn't do anything daft. But years ago, since Terry joined back in '66, and from that until now, like society has changed massively in every way. We in the force, we've had to change. We have to keep in touch. We're always a bit behind, but we don't like to go too fast either. But things were different even then in '66, and I heard the story the other night, and I think I'll tell it. And I remember hearing it at the time, but I'd forgotten about it. You all remember when Shergar was stolen? It's kind of funny to say a horse was taken. It was ordered and stolen, but he was stolen anyway. And different people said who took him and so on and so forth. But anyway, they say he was taken to Free Ireland. But anyway, we'll leave that go as it is. But Shergar was taken anyway, and there was a very contrary sergeant. He was odd, he was a bit eccentric, he was stationed outside the city. Terry knows him and I know who he was. He wasn't around Macroom. But word came down from headquarters that in 24 hours the whole country to be searched for Shergar. But this sergeant, he was down outside the city and he was a desperate rogue in his own way, but he was an odd old fella. So he said to the guard, the young guard at the time, he says to him, listen, we better go and look for Shergar. And where did he head for? Up into about a terrace of about 40 houses, you see? And even the young guard, he was a Kerry man, he said to your man, he said, Christ, you'll never find Shergar up here. Oh, says your man, you don't know what you'll find up on these places, he says, you see? And he went into this house and the woman wasn't too welcoming anywhere. And it was a time, this is why I'm telling the story, there was no wardens. If you went in there today, be Christ, you'd find yourself in Strasbourg, not to mind anymore. But in those days, you know, in fairness, people would help you with their inquiries, you know, the usual everything. So this sergeant anyway went into the house and looked into this. He told the woman he was looking for Shergar. Her mouth opened and she said, you don't expect to find him here. I said, ma'am, you never know who put him in. No, you'd expect him to go to the back anyway and look, but he didn't go to the back either. He looked into the sitting room and he said, and some of our lads know who I'm talking about, he says, no Shergar here, he says. Looked into the kitchen and the scullery and looked out the back, out the window, no Shergar. Upstairs. And like some people you're worrying what the bed's made of, wouldn't you know yourself. And he stood and he looked in the first room, he says, bedroom number 1, no Shergar. Bedroom number 2, no Shergar. And it went on like that. And this guard said he was embarrassed at the door. But the sergeant was above and the woman said, good God, what is he looking for? So down he came anyway and she was giving out him. And she said, how could you find this big horse like Shergar up there? I said, ma'am, you don't know. So on his way out, there was a dog lying across the gate going into the house, you know, to the warm day, and there was a dog lying down. And he said to the ma'am, of course, you know, still a bit of law, you know, guards are like that, they'll look at law all the time. He says to her, is that your dog, ma'am? Certainly not, she says. And he said to the young guard, he says, give the dog a kick in the ass there, he says, and see where he goes to. And the guard did what he was told, and of course, the dog walked into the house. So now he said to the ma'am, you're not all law keepers around here, you know. So you may say, why they tell the story? I don't know why he told it, but anyway, but I told it. But I had another story about a fellow from Castlemaine, back around your side of the country. I had a brother working in the mental hospital in Killarney, you know, he wasn't a patient there, he was working there. And once ever in my life, I went in to see him. I had some bit of business in Killarney and I called up to see him. And he said to me, do you see that fella below there? He says, that fella, he said, he's in here for 35 years, he says, and he thinks that he played in the World Cup final, but it was Gaelic football they were playing, you know, he was certainly a bit on the Kildare side, up in the head, hit the poor fella, after all his years in there. And this is a true story, so I went in anyway and I met, he said, if you go talking to him now, he says, the first thing he'll say to you is, do you know me? And he says, make sure you say, don't everyone know you. And then he'll tell you the story. So he said, take plenty of fags with you. So I did. They said there was some you said you could be related, Terry, for all I know. But anyhow, I went down along anyway and met your man. He said, he's a small, fat little fella. And he says, do you know me? I said, of course I know you. Don't everyone know you? Well, I tell you the story. So I gave him 20 fags. Sat down, he smoked away. And he said, Castlemaine were playing Russia in the World Cup final. No, so he was in the right place, but anyway, and he said they were playing Gaelic football, and anyway, he says 5 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, he was only first sub, and the whole world was there, including the Pope. Now we can imagine this fellow, and he believed this now, and he says, the next thing he says, with 2 minutes to go, he says, the trainer brought him on, and he said he got the ball in the middle of the field. There was Gaelic football now, there was hit 4 Russian fellas, put him flying, kept going, he says. We were down 3 points. And what did I do? And I said, you scored the goal. And Jesus, you were as stupid as the rest of them. He says, I scored a goal and a point with a 1 shot. No, so I said, how did you do that? And you know, like the poor man, he believed it. He says, the tube went over the bar and the leather under the bar. You see? He made it. And he says, the whole world went mad. He says, I saw the Pope jumping down off of the, wherever he was, and he came over, he said, no, I have to beat them fucking Russians. You know, yeah. So anyway, that fella was in Castlemaine, and I thought of that coming out tonight when I had to get this fella. But anyway, we're here tonight, I suppose, to mark Terry's retirement, and for me, as the Chief Superintendent in charge of the division, and on behalf of all the people in the division, to thank Terry for his service. Terry has leaving the job certainly as well as he found it, and possibly he enhanced the image of the force. He did a good job there, and as I said, I don't like people like Terry, too many of them going together, and when I think in the last 3 or 4 years the amount of people that have left Macroom, you know, I suppose it's a sign of the times changing and so on. But I just like to say, Terry, thanks for everything over the years, and thanks for keeping fellas working and all that type of thing. And you did a job proud. And I think the number of people here tonight, I'm always amazed at the amount of people that turn up to these functions. I really am. And it's kind of very, again, encouraging for us to see so many people turning up. So Terry, on my own behalf, thanks for everything. And again, on behalf of all the members of the division, I wish you, Mairead, and your family the very best of everything for the future. And I've no doubt you won't make too many mistakes, because I heard the wife is out from around trip season, right? Yeah, she's like every Kerry man that ever came to Cork. She knew a good thing when she saw it, and I thought, you never had a chance, Terry. You should have supported home industry too. Anyway, too late. Listen, thank you very much indeed, and thanks everybody for coming tonight.
God help the next fellow that's on anyhow. Pat O'Sullivan sends his apologies, and in his absence we have a presentation on behalf of the Garda Representative Association, and I'll have to call on Dennis Keenan in Pat's absence to make that presentation.
Reverend Falls, ladies and gentlemen, special guest. I know that Terry was dreading the whole week while getting the mic into my hand. In fact, as chairman, I'm representing the Garda representative body up here, but as chairman of the social club, I think there was a press ban put on me a couple of weeks ago when I was here at another do, and I suggested to Mairead that I was making vast inquiries into the background and into history, and there was immediate ban put on, and the Kerry Men's Association did a coup in Cork, and before I knew it anyway, Terry someone said it was an old schoolmate was going to do the MC, because Terry and Johnny McKinney, I think, nearly went to the same school, Cadna First National School in near Castlemaine. So Terry would be very glad if I just gave the presentation and shut up, but I won't. No, I'm seriously, I won't embarrass him. There's great stories told. I could also make another presentation up here on behalf of the ISPCA, that's the Provincial Cruelty to Animals. I was going to buy a big bunny rabbit today and give it to Terry, because many of the time he nearly killed me in the patrol car. When I rode at night, if Terry was driving, I could live back to seat and kind of be nodding off. The next thing, I'd find my head up against the windscreen. And I said, name of God, what was that? He said, a rabbit. And I said, where's the rabbit? About 200 yards away. And especially around my own house, because I had all my own shrubs ate. I was trying to knock off as many as I could when I was out. So I was nearly reported and Terry to get the award. Anyway, without further ado, on behalf of the Garda representative body, who I represent here tonight, and especially the district committee, of which I'm secretary, I'm very proud to present Terry with a statuette of a bronze statuette of a Garda in uniform. Now, the statue of a Garda standing proud, the same as Terry always wore. Terry always stood proud in the Guards. And I know Terry better than anyone, and in fact I served on the same unit as Terry for 22 years without a break, since the first day I came to Macroom. As a matter of fact, I think we're out on the beat in the middle of the Mountain Dew in 1979. and we had a very funny first day, but my God, to be too rude to repeat what happened, but Terry said, he remarked at the end of it, and he said, "Jesus," he said, "and you were only here one day." But you can imagine what went on during the Mountain Dews. It was fairly wild times. But I would like to say, a special, on my own behalf, Terry, a special thank you to you for the friendship over 22 years in the same unit. And when I moved out to Crookstown, even I couldn't get away from him. Every time I rang back home, just Terry answered again. And the lads will appreciate this. If I had time today, I would have gone to the radio workshops in Bandon, and I would have brought a walkie-talkie, the mouthpiece from a car radio. Because when you were talking to Terry, be it on the phone or on the car radio, there's no way you'll get the last word. Not a hope. You could say, "Well, look now, Terry," and he'd come back again. Fine. And you say, "All right, no, that's grand now." And there could be a break of 10 or 20 seconds, and he'd come back again. So he always had the last word, and I'm sure, as Johnny will say, he'll have the last word here tonight as well. And I wish Terry a long and happy retirement and a healthy retirement. And Terry, I hope, as the previous speaker said before, I hope you draw more pension than pay. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Dennis, indeed. Now we'll have Anne-Marie to present the bouquet of flowers to Maureen. We have a special surprise now when the lights dim there slightly. Grace, Terry's daughter, is going to say a few words now.
Hi to everybody tonight. I think I've been nominated to say a few words, so just on behalf of the family, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the meal and everything so far, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy the night. And just one note, just to wish Mum and Dad the best of luck in their retirement on behalf of the other three and myself, and good luck for the future. All right, we love you.
Thank you, Grace, indeed. We'll move around now for the Grace After Meals, and we'll have Father Tim to say Grace After Meals.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. We give thee thanks, Almighty God, for these and for all thy benefits, who livest and reigns, one God, world without end, amen. May the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace, amen. The Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Now we'll hand you over to the man of the moment now, Terry himself, to conclude the proceedings.
Thanks, Terry. Reverend Fathers, Chief Superintendent Dwyer, Inspector Nolan, former colleagues, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for supporting the function tonight. It's great to see so many people here tonight, and it's I want to thank all the speakers for their kind remarks, and to thank everybody for the lovely presentations. And I want to say that the years I've had in the force with all my former colleagues have been good, and I want to let them know that I appreciate all the good moments we had in the comradeship over the years. I appreciate all the friendships we made in the job with the people in all the areas that I've served in, and I want to thank everybody for their kindness and courtesy to me over the years in the course of the job. And I hope everybody enjoyed the function tonight. I want to wish all the new members of the station, all the young members, the best of luck in the future. I think they'll all do very well. certainly, they're certainly very promising, and they're a very sound group of people, all the present team in Macroom Garda Station. I want to thank the organisers of the function tonight, Macroom Garda District Social Club, for going to so much trouble and for the lovely presentations. And I want to remember some of the colleagues that are no longer with us and that I have served with over the years, and to just remember them tonight, and particularly the young member of the force that died in the course of the last 24 hours, who was living and residing in Macroom. I want to thank my wife and family for their support over the years, and I suppose they've had a lot to put up with at times, so I thank them for that. And I want to wish you all the very best for the rest of the night and enjoy the rest of the function. I don't think I have any more to say at that point. Only thanks again for everything. Thank you very much.
On my own behalf, I would just like to thank Brendan on the organising committee, who did an awful lot of work for us, and to thank Terry for his kindness to everyone over the years, and wish him health and happiness and a long life. Thank you indeed.
Hello. I forgot to mention one of the biggest surprises of the night was the social club have arranged to have my best man Jerome Conway and his wife Eva, 21st of the 3rd 1970, when we got married. Jerome was my best man in Coachford, and it was a lovely surprise to have them here tonight. And Father Tim O'Connor, who in '67 he was the barman at the Castle Hotel in Macroom, and he's now a curate in Coachford, the hometown of Mairead, my wife. So I advised him to look up the records there, 21st of March 1970. He'll see 2 Cloglan men in the register, Jerome and myself. And that's all. Thanks again. Oh, a little surprise. I had one small surprise there. Somebody, I have a bouquet of flowers to present to some lady that's come here tonight that I know as far as back as 1967, and she wasn't feeling well during the week, but she has gone to the trouble of coming tonight, and I want to surprise her with a little treat. That's Mrs. Kelleher, Masseytown.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thanks very much indeed for your cooperation. Thank you indeed.
Sorry, no. And should I go do it? It's so when I was in Macroom as a barman, Terry arrived as well. So I knew a lot of the guards in Macroom that time. I think I was the only barman going dancing that had a Garda driver. But I call this a retirement poem for Terry Mack, and it's a kind of following him as I knew him then. To Macroom came a young Garda from Killorgan, County Kerry, with a big smile on his face, and his name it was Terry. Now he didn't drink alcohol, but he liked to dance, and he was very partial to a bit of romance. Oh, the girls who admired him were very many, but young Terry took the advice of one Martin Canny, and it's courting out to Coachford they did go, where a lovely girl worked in Coachford P.O. Terry said she's the nicest girl he had met by far, and sure her uncle Johnny Callahan could fix his car. To Mairead, Terry whispered love on the telephone, until finally they wed and set up their new home. Their 4 lovely girls he had in a twirl, as they tried to find out who was his favourite girl. But our friend Terry Mack was on the ball, because he gave equal love to one and all. And now Terry, that guard who is so shy, retires tonight with a tear in his eye. So good health and God's blessing, and enjoy the crack. That's my prayer for you and your family, my old friend Terry Mack.
Thanks very much. I was framed that. I was.
At last there came a happy time when something that I said caused her lips to murmur yes, and shortly we were wed. There is a house down in a lane in a tiny garden spot where grows a flower I know so well. It's a sweet forget-me-not. She's fragrant and she's charming like the lilies in the pond. Time is passing swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The daisies and primroses were blooming round the spot where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." Where we parted, when she whispered, "You'll forget me not." Time with the wildflower off the lawn. Let Killarney have their lilies, and to be the lovely rose. But there's the flower more dear to me than in the wildwood grove. She's fairer far than any star, she's the jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's the jewel in Kerry's crown. pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. Well, I met her on the road to Puck when I was 22. She said, young man, one favour I'm going to ask of you. As you stroll the streets with your ballad sheet to the fair of great renown, will you dance a set with the girl you met, your wildflower of the lawn? She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. Well, we sang and danced 3 days and nights to the minstrel's merry tune. We ate cool beans and drank black ale, the scattering came too soon. The open road soon called on me to roam the country round. With my money spent, 'tis the way I went for my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. 'Twas my look and chance at the harvest dance that our paths they crossed once more. We pledged our love neath the stars above and the sky down by the shore. The wedding bell did soon ring out, and now we're settled down beside these banks where I give God thanks for my wildflower of the lawn. She's fairer far than any star, she's a jewel in Kerry's crown. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. The pride of Erin's garden is my wildflower of the lawn. Thank you very much, folks. Take a short break. Your next dance, please. Thank you very much indeed. Right, folks, hold on to your partners and we'll continue with another. Thank you very much. Your next dance, please take a break. Thank you. We've done songs and stories, heroes all we know, are the passing tales and glories that once was Dublin town. The hallowed halls and houses, the haunted children's rhyme, that once was part of Dublin in the railroad time. All together, ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the railroad time. My name it is Sean Dempsey, as Dublin as can be, born hard and late in Pimlico, in a house that ceased to be. My trade I was a cooper, rushed out to redundancy, like my house that fell to progress. My trade's a memory, and I courted Peggy Dykeman, as pretty as you please, a rogue and a child of Mary, from the rebel liberties. I lost her to a student chap, with skin as black as coal. Maybe took her off to Birmingham, she took away my soul. Ring-a-ring-a-roll, rosy. As the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old time. And the years have made me bitter. The drink has dimmed my brain. For Dublin keeps unchanging, and nothing seems the same. The metropole and pillar gone, the roll-on fence pulled down, as the grey unyielding concrete make a city of my town. Fare thee well, my Annalise, I can no longer stay and watch the new glass cages rise up along the quay. My mind too full of memories to want to hear new chimes. I'm part of what was Dublin in the rare old time. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the lights decline, I remember Dublin city in the rare old time. I remember Dublin city in the rare old time. That's it for now, folks. The next dance coming right up. Thanks very much indeed. Will you hold me and tell me you love me? Will you drive all my worries away? Will you still smile that smile when I whisper and say, will you love me the way that you love me today? Will you love me the way that you love me today? At Mount Vesey, the flower of Macroom. I long to remember those bright days of yore, with sweet glee and joy I'd be gone. friends who frequented my own cabin flow, and the comrades I loved made a choice. How I long for to roam by Mount Massey's green grove, approached by the light of the moon. That spot of my birth is no equal on earth, Mount Massey, the flower of the crown. So friends, come with me, and this day you will see the apples and cherries in bloom. And to you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of the crown. In the sweet summer time, when the season was fine, what fun would be there at the gate. The colleens would smile as they sat on the stile, while the sweethearts their love tales relate. When the dancing was over, we'd go to the park, each lad and his lassie in blue. That spot of my birth is no equal on earth, Mount Massey, the flower of the grove. So friends, come with me, and this day you will see the apples and cherries in bloom. And to you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of the grove. So now I must roam from our deep world home, and sail over the wide raging sea, to leave friends behind, both loving and kind, and the colleens who dearly love me. Though fortune may smile far away from our eyes, I shall pray that the day will come soon, when I stray once again by that lovely domain, Mount Massey, the flower of the crown. So friends, come with me, and this day you will see the apples and cherries in bloom. And to you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of the crown. And to you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of the crown. Take a break, folks. Your next dance coming right up. Thank you very much indeed. you very much. How about a nice round of applause there for the set dancers? Thank you. Pain, but you're down when you're riding the train that's taking the long way. And I dream of the things I'll do with a subway token and $1 tucked inside of my shoe. There's been a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy riding out on a horse and a star-spangled rodeo, like a rhinestone cowboy getting cards and letters from people I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone. Take a break. Your next dance, please. Thank you very much indeed. We finish off with Anna from Fermanagh. He lived all alone up in County Tyrone. He had 40 acres with cattle, and he struggled through life with no child or no wife. Life sure was one hell of a battle. So he thought he would go to old matchmaker Joe and ask about Mary McKenna. When he heard she got wed, sure the matchmaker said, there's lots of fine girls in Fermanagh. And we sing, Only loves Anna from the county Fermanagh, and she round loves Tony as well. As they drove up and down, doing laps round the town, they were madly in love, you could tell. On the day they got wed, should the preacher, he said, do you take her to love and to honor? I'd swim every lake, oh, he said, for her sake, there's plenty of lakes in Fermanagh. Well, first there was Sue, she came from Belcoo. He thought it was Sue he might marry, but her father went and disapproved of the plan, so on he left Belcoo in a hurry. There was Maggie McGee, she came from Ballyea. He thought he would dancer and diver, but at the disco one night, oh, he got such a fright when her teeth shone like fine Lily China, and she sang, Only loves Anna from the county Fermanagh, sure Anna loves Only as well. As they drove up and down, doing laps round the town, they were madly in Lonely Hotel. On the day they got wed, sure the preacher he said, do you take her to love and to honour? I'd swim every lake, oh he said for her sake, there's plenty of lakes in Fermanagh. On the day he met Anne, in her little white van, as he stood in the street all alone. 'Twas in the skillet, she said she was willing to marry this man from Tyrone. Now they both have a son, and his name is John. The girls are called Maeve and Alana. And old Joe was right when he told him that night that he'd meet his sweetheart in Fermanagh. And we sing, Only loves Anna from the county Fermanagh. Sure Anna loves Only as well. And they drove up and down, doing laps on the town. They were madly in Lonely Hotel. On the day they got wed, sure the preacher he said, do you take her to love and to honour? I'd spend every lake, oh he said for her sake, there's plenty of lakes in Fermanagh. There's plenty of lakes in Fermanagh. Thank you very much once again. Your next dance coming right up. Thank you very much indeed. We'll build a world of our own that no one else can share. All our sorrows we leave far behind us there, and I know we will find there'll be peace of mind. We live in a world of our own. Oh my love, I'm crying for you so much. Lonely nights without sleeping while I long for you touch. Now your lips that erase the heartaches I've known. With me to a world of our own. We'll build a world of our own that no one else can share. All our sorrows we leave far behind us there, and I know you will find there'll be peace of mind. We live in a world of our own. If you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load on the teacher's home, if you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine a light for anyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. Don't walk around so down and out. The lend a helping hand. Long down, and the kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine a light for anyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, you can overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people, of the narrow-minded. Did you all get a partner? This time we're entitled Waltzing an Angel Tonight in Old Time Walls. There's an old Haley band in the spotlight. Darling, let's take to the floor. I feel like a king and you look like a queen. You're all I could ask for and more. You don't wear no rubies, no diamonds. You don't have a mansion of gold. I promise you this, feel with a kiss. My love will never grow cold. So let's go round one more time, my darling. There's love and the music's just right. Get on our cares in the morning. But I'm wanting an angel tonight. Yes, I'm wanting an angel tonight. Just like the first time I saw you at the school dance at the far side of town. I walked you home in the evening. We watched the sun going down. Many years have gone by now, we've married. We've seen some hard times roll by. I'm the happiest man on this dance floor. I'm waltzing an angel tonight. So let's go round one more time, my darling. There's love and the music's just right. Get on our cares in the morning. But I'm waltzing an angel tonight. There's a same sparkle in your eyes. I felt right from the start. I put a ring on your finger, gold just like your heart. So let's go round one more time, my darling. There's love and the music's just right. Forget all our cares in the morning. But I'm wanting an angel tonight. Yes, I'm wanting an angel tonight. Right, folks, this time we'd like to see the gents in the centre and the ladies on the outside. Okay, folks, this time we'll do a slow foxtrot and one title, You're My Best Friend. You place gold on my finger. You brought love like I've never known. You gave life to all children me a reason to go on. You're my friend when I'm hungry. You're my shelter from troubled wind. You're my anchor in life's ocean. But most of all, you're my best friend. When I need hope and inspiration, you're always strong when I'm tired and weak. I could search this whole world over, you'll still be everything that I need. You're my friend when I'm hungry. You're my shelter from troubled wind. You're my anchor in life's ocean. But most of all, you're my best friend. You're my friend when I'm hungry. You're my shelter from troubled wind. You're my anchor in life's ocean. But most of all, you're my best friend. But most of all, you're my best friend. Okay, folks, back to the way you started. The gents on the outside and the ladies in the center. Love is a burning thing, and it makes the fiery ring. Bound by wildfire, I fell into ring of fire. I fell into burning ring of fire, and down, 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 and the flames went higher. the lane to burning in the fire. Went down, 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 and the flame went high. It burned, burned, burned. Ring of fire, ring of fire, ring of fire, ring of fire. Thank you very much. We finish off with a military two-step. Thank you very much. Take a break. Your next stand. Here we go this time with the barn dance. Take a break. Your next dance, please. Thank you very much. Time with my old Sligo home. Much have I travelled, many sights I have seen, since I left my home in that island of green. From London to Boston, wherever I roam, I long to return to my own Sligo home. How joyful that good day that we all spent, as we walk by the tower, so happy and content. In Hazelwood meadow, I often walk alone, with the scene of contentment near my own Sligo home, where the bright lights of London are pretty to see, and the sidewalks of so grand to me. Someday I will wander and walk home to take the road westward to my own Sligo home. Grape and Bolden and the pine array and the sun reclining o'er sweet Sligo Bay. The Garda river goes on before the foam amidst the green hillside near my own Sligo home. Farewell to that old home and the kind folks I knew. Every song and story with heart's guidance, I'll change it all. No more shall I roam. I long to return to my own Sligo, where the bright lights of London are beneath me, and the sidewalks of New York are so grand to me. Someday I will wander back home to take the road westward to my own Sligo home. Yes, take the road westward to my own Sligo home. Take a break, your next dance. I'd like to wish Terry and his wife a happy retirement. Can I have your attention, please? For Ron Levine. Anyone want to make a speech before we finish? As all the young gave Queen Dorston, all her things the road is going. They voice passing, genteel Roisin Shergosta, the Oxford, St. Tyrone, and on the hills of Arnhem, they got their breath on they go each way. We don't know when, Sean Nick Connie, all Thank you very much. Good night and stay tuned. Thank you very much indeed.